If you can get your YouTube strategy right, you can quite literally print money from the sky. But if you're running a business, you don't want to spend all day trying to do some Mr. Beast style stuff. You don't want to spend all day making content because you've got other stuff to do. But in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we generated over 250K from a brand new YouTube channel in under 30 days without any Mr. Beast style stuff, without spending all day making content, and purely just focusing on the stuff that moves the needle and the stuff that makes the money and generates the results. And hopefully this can help you at least start having a crack at YouTube, because it is one of the highest ROI things that you can do. And if you aren't on YouTube, I guarantee you that you are missing out as a business owner. It is one of the strongest channels. Trust me, in 2024, buyers do not like just getting an email and then buying, or seeing an ad and then buying. They absolutely love to see an ad, go to YouTube, go look you up. And the thing about YouTube is that not only is it such a great platform, but when people do look you up, because it's affiliated with Google, it ranks really well in search. So it matters for not just people that are even trying to get famous on YouTube, but also people that have traffic sources coming from other places like email or ads. Because when people look you up, you want them to be able to look into you and give them some material, give them some value, and push them towards booking a call and hopefully giving you some money if you run a business. So without further ado, let me get straight into the video. So if you hear that and you're like, well, who the hell is this guy? I mean, it kind of makes sense. I look like a 12-year-old, but I am business partners with this guy, Matthew Larson, who you might have seen posting Miro board videos and posting kind of raw B2B authentic YouTube videos. This is my business partner right here. So we run 1000X Leads. It is a consulting program for agencies. If you don't know what it is, I guess you can just go to our website and look it up. Here are our client wins. You can see here. So it's not just like some fraudulent thing, like our clients are actually making money. And here are our clients on a list. So you can see this is actually a real thing. It's not some internet BS. This is actually occurring in real time. So with that out of the way, let's quickly cover some stuff that has precisely, almost close to zero impact on the results that you get. Number one is editing. Editing serves to retain viewers for longer and make sure they stay on the video, but that actually doesn't really contribute to selling stuff in a business sense, because the thing that's going to keep someone on the video is the script and the words that you're writing, and whether you're giving value and whether you're a captivating person and whether you are listening to. Whether you're worth listening to, sorry. So that's going to be contributed to by, for example, your authority, your copywriting ability, how good is your hook, how good is all of these things. Your actual editing can be more of a distraction, and people like Hormozy have touched on that recently. And I think this is kind of sparking a shift towards general content when it comes to selling on YouTube. Is much less about doing Mr. Beast style stuff, and it's much more about the actual content. So the copywriting, the actual words that you're saying and who you are going to have a much bigger impact on things like retention, rather than obviously just putting some captions on and putting a cute thumbnail on. And if you think about it, it's kind of like you can put a different wrapper on the chocolate bar, but as soon as you unwrap the chocolate bar, it's like, if it's a piece of shit chocolate bar, you're not going to eat it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can repackage the thing, but if the thing still sucks, it's pretty much over for you. And that kind of goes in the same with this. So no thumbnails, no whiz bangs. Thumbnails are an interesting one. We actually tested a bunch of optimized thumbnails. We quote unquote optimized, like from YouTube people that try and tell us that YouTube's important and YouTube strategy is a real thing. This was completely false. So whenever we tried a new thumbnail, it actually didn't work as well. And what it did was it kind of took away from almost the branding of it, where you knew if you were going to open a certain video and it had consistently the same thumbnail, that it would kind of have that retention effect where you consistently see the same person, and almost without having a face in the thumbnails. And the ones I'm talking about are basically these style of thumbnails. So you kind of get used to seeing this and you're like, oh, well, this is going to be a certain type of video, versus if you have some optimized thumbnail, you kind of see it and you're like, oh, I don't know what this is, random face. Next is no wah wee wah selling to beginners stuff. We thought about doing that because, you can make a bit of money selling to beginner stuff. You don't need to do that. Really what you can do is you can just help people scale up, rather than, selling biz ops and stuff. Like selling biz ops and business opportunities and courses and that sort of thing. That, it's not really going to impact, it's not really going to have a profound impact on the market. And I said without selling high ticket to existing business owners, but that's actually a typo there. So the stuff that does matter is selling high ticket stuff to existing business owners, pretty much. So selling high ticket to business owners is the move. You want to be selling services to existing businesses. Selling to beginners, They don't pay as well as an existing business owner, and they have much less leverage. So a really big problem that people face is that their clients have no leverage. And what I mean by that is, for example, if someone signs up with 1,000x leads and they already have, if they already have an email list, or they already have a bit of an audience, or they're already running outreach, or they've already got some stuff in place, it's really easy for us to just go in and say, hey, you need to do X, Y, Z, do ABC, and then they can just implement it because they've already got the leverage. They might have a bit of a team. They might already have some clients, hopefully at the very bare minimum, and then they can go out and make a lot more money. Compare that to if you're selling to, more on the beginner's side, you kind of run into issues because you have to literally teach them, the absolute bare bones basics of like how to set up Stripe. And I think someone said, if you have to constantly answer silly questions, you're probably working with silly people. That's probably a good rule of thumb, where if you're having to do all this really basic stuff, you're probably not working with the right people. So typically selling high ticket to business owners is the best spot. And then the next one is going to be offer positioning. So when I talk about offer positioning, I mean, do you really want to go ahead and do the exact same thing as someone else and just deliver a random service? Probably not. You don't want to position what you do as, I'm going to edit your videos, or I'm going to, do your emails, or I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. You have to sell something that people are going to be really, really interested in. And the way that we did that was, obviously there's a lot of stuff where it's like, hey, we're going to help you get this outcome. We're going to help you get clients. We're going to help you do this. What we did was, our entire business is based around having a step-by-step protocol to implement a certain sales funnel. So what that means is, it's a little bit different from what typical stuff that you see is, because it's really step-by-step. It's like, no, there's a lot of stuff in the market, but you kind of end up getting confused. You get thrown in Kajabi, and, excuse the blatant sales pitch. I'm just trying to explain why we did it. But most stuff in the market is, hey, we have this, bunch of Kajabi videos that just teach you how to do something. Compare that to, no, we literally have a step-by-step project management style board where you can implement this for your business. That's really important. Next, authority is a massive one. And this isn't as actionable for most people, but I do have a little bit of an actionable tip that I learned. So hold out. So when it comes to authority, obviously, if you have a better track record, you're going to be able to sell better. It's just bare bones, basic stuff. Matt has a sick track record. It's no secret. If you scale an agency to $900K a month, you don't really have to justify yourself too much. You've just got a good track record. That is going to make it much easier to sell. But if you don't have a sick track record, what you can do is you can go out and actually execute as much as you possibly can. So for example, you can go and review thousands of YouTube scripts. You can go and review thousands of landing pages. You can go and, conduct free consulting calls with 100 business owners and look at their funnels and review them all and analyze their KPIs. And you can go and put that work in that specific niche or that specific industry. And then you can go back to the YouTube video and put that authority down on the page or on the video, and use that as the grounding for why you should be worth listening to. And what I mean is, let's say I've gone and reviewed 100 people's sales funnels. That means when I go to the video, it's worth listening to because I can get leverage because you've gone out and done all that work to review all those sales funnels and seen what works. I can then watch that video in 10 minutes and it will be worth me watching because I'm going to learn something that's actually relevant. Compare that to if you have no track record, you've done no work, people kind of just click on the video like, I'm not going to get anything out of this, and then they go ahead and click off. So that's basically a waste of time. You want to avoid that. And what you can do with your authority is, like I said, talk about your track record, talk about your proof, talk about your clients, or alternatively, if you don't have that stuff available, talk about what you've done, talk about the work you've put in, and talk about something that's really specific. Because even if you do a service that's quote unquote saturated or quote unquote commoditized, business owners do not have time, or they don't give the fucks, to be honest, to go out and figure out how to use Clay, how to do video editing, how to do all this stuff. But you, if you're a service provider, you do. That's your expert thing. No business owner is going to have the time to become even close to an expert in your given skill. So even if they're running a sick business and running a crazy good business, they still need that thing. For example, my video editor that's helping me with my Instagram, he's like a 17-year-old kid from Eastern Europe. Then he goes to a business owner and says, hey, I can do this thing for you. It's not as if I'm like, no, I know how to edit videos better than you, just because I have a business and he's kind of closer to getting started. That would make no sense. I'm absolute rookie when it comes to his thing, his area of expertise. So when it comes to authority, if you're lacking in it, just go more specific. It's a really, it's a bit of a cheat code there. Next, content quality. And this is what I was talking about a little bit with, you can focus on the whiz bangs and the thumbnails and the edits, and that stuff doesn't really matter. But when it comes to content quality, I know you're probably going to think that I'm going to tell you to give value because that's what everyone says. I hate it when people say just give value. It makes no sense to me. What actually works is giving advanced and unique and valuable insights. So if you say something and someone immediately already knows what you're going to say, so for example, hey, send some emails, go send more emails. If you continually say stuff that people say all the damn time, it is not going to work for you, because obviously then you're just going to blend into everyone else. You need to kind of be advanced. And when I talk about being advanced, I want to talk about something that Naval said back in his thread from the old days. So specific knowledge cannot be taught. What does that mean? Specific knowledge cannot be taught. A lot of ways you can interpret that, but the way that I want to interpret that in the context of this video and giving unique insights is that a unique insight is something that you've earned. Something that you have earned. So something that can't be taught that you've earned. That means you go out and apply the traditional advice. So look, for example, I've gone out and applied the traditional advice of using a thumbnail, and then I've gone ahead and said, no, actually, the thumbnail isn't really that important because all of the other stuff matters a lot more. So that's traditional advice, and that's an insight that has been earned. Another example of that is the first person to ever still track open tracking while sending a cold email. Someone had to figure out that it actually hurt your cold email deliverability. That was an insight that was earned. You can earn your specific knowledge and then teach it to someone else, and that is what makes it valuable. So when you go out and you are executing these things while you're gaining your authority, or while you're doing your work to gain your authority, or while you're doing your business, the insights that you learn and the experience that you get is what makes it valuable. Because what makes something valuable is when they can get an outcome with less time, less effort. So they're going to have less effort to go out and get that insight that you've already got and they can get in 5 seconds. That's why making content is so good. That's why it's high leverage for both the viewer and the creator. And that's why you need to do it. I hope I explained that well. Something where you go out and experience something, you test it, you figure out a better way to do it, you note that down to yourself, and then you share it with someone else. So for example, if I go out and post 10 Instagram videos a day on Instagram, and then I figure out, oh, well, that hurt the algorithm, and then I go back and post one time a day and it fixes the algorithm, that's an insight. Now, that one might be more obvious, but you get the point. Even when you're sending emails, for example, let's say you do a cold email agency, you might have a unique insight that when the email is shorter than 75 words, it's going to convert better than when it's over 100 words. It's like you're going and conducting a study in the market to get these unique insights. Then you take these unique insights and you deliver them in the content. This is the exact style that you want to make it actually valuable. Basically, I went and did this thing. Here's everything I learned. That's the best style of content that you are going to be able to make, especially when you're talking about service providing industries, when you're talking about running a business, et cetera, et cetera. Next up, we have copywriting ability. So this is really important. The ability to change behavior. That's what makes something valuable. So the content that you create becomes valuable when someone applies it. That's because they can't actually get value unless they learn something. So if you're selling, a lot of times you're going to be on the side of YouTube that wants to learn something, that want to be educated, they want to be taught something and want to leave with quote unquote value. And like I said, I don't like it when people say value, but if you're going to get them value, you have to change their behavior, because then they're going to, number one, go out and apply that. So for example, if I tell you, hey, you need to do your YouTube videos this way, and then you go out and apply it and it works, you're going to say, holy shit, tick. That Leo guy doesn't suck. He's not a complete dipshit. I'm going to go and watch his video again. And I'll be like, oh, sweet. Now we're friends, and maybe you subscribe. Maybe, unless you think I'm a dipshit still, which would be unfortunate for everyone involved. But the other part of that is after they get the value, that's good, obviously. But the other thing is, if they're not changing their behavior, if people watch your video and then act the exact same afterwards, what happens is you end up competing with Netflix, because they are basically watching your business videos or your mindset videos or your whatever videos, and they are going out and doing nothing about that. They're not changing their behavior whatsoever. Then all of a sudden, you are basically classed as entertainment. You're basically allocated into the subsection of content that is mental masturbation, because they watch your video, do nothing different, learn nothing, and don't apply anything. And the question that I often ask people is, if you were going to, if you had to write down a list right now of 5 things that you have learned in the last YouTube videos that you've watched, what would they be? What are the 5 things you've learned in the last YouTube videos you've watched? If you can't write stuff down that you actually took away from those videos and implemented and acted differently as a result of the video, you weren't getting educated, you weren't getting value, you were being entertained. And that is what I mean when I say all of a sudden, if you're in this entertainment niche and you're running a business, that is when you compete with Netflix. That's when someone should have been watching the new season of The Gentleman instead of watching your video. And that is when your stuff is not going to be good, because people are going to watch your stuff while trying to be entertained. And if you're just a regular old business person, just making content in your free time, on a Friday afternoon like I am, while you just finish up your client work, you're not going to be able to make Netflix level stuff. You're not going to be able to spend 17 hours scripting something. So your stuff is inherently never going to be as entertaining as Netflix unless you're funny, which, not everyone's that blessed. Probably not even me. Like I said, bit of a dipshit at times. But you know what I'm saying? So as soon as you leave this realm of I'm getting someone to apply something differently, or I'm getting someone to do this task a little bit differently and making them better and giving them value, that is when you get into this whole world of just entertainment. Like, they shouldn't really be watching your videos. Like, they're kind of wasting time when they're watching your videos, which is problematic for everyone involved. And then next, the ability to give actionable steps and make stuff simple. So this is really important, especially when it comes to not competing with Netflix. And this comes into your copywriting ability as well. Just use basic language. This is pretty self-explanatory. If you're in the business space, if you've done any sort of copywriting, everyone's going to tell you to just use it as simple as possible. And an easy hack to make complex stuff more simple is to use metaphors and analogies. So what do I mean by metaphors and analogies? Basically means whenever you're talking about a complex thing, just say X complex thing is kind of like Y simple thing. So you want to use these laws and principles to the target audience that they understand and they're aware of, and you want to use those as leverage to introduce them to laws that they aren't aware of. And an example of this, that's kind of a wordy sentence. Let me explain that. So an example of this is if I'm trying to explain the sales funnel that 1000x Leads helps people implement, I'm going to tell them a funnel is kind of like a car. If you have wheels, but you don't have any steering wheel, it's not going to work. You need every piece of the car to make it work properly. If you have, a wheel, you have wheels, engine, but no steering wheel, you're not going to be able to steer the car. It's going to break. It's the exact same with your sales funnel. So I'm basically introducing the law that you need every piece of the car for it to work. People understand this. This makes sense in people's heads. And then I'm attaching that to the point that I want to make, which is that they need every step in the funnel. If I just say, hey, you need every step in the funnel, you're going to say, well, okay, why? And it just doesn't make sense in people's heads. And that's the exact same way where, your mum tells you to go to bed and you say, why do I need to go to bed, mum? And your mum says, well, because I'm your mother, because I held you in my womb for 9 months, yada, yada, yada. I'm sorry, mum, if you're watching this video, but that is a shit argument. That is not going to get me to take action. That is not going to get me to take action and go to sleep. Not going to work for anyone involved here, mum. You need to give me a logical argument. And that logical argument can be delivered by using an analogy like this, where you say, well, Leo, sleeping is kind of like one of those essential things you do. I can't think of an analogy off the top of my head right now. But when you present it this way, it's like, hey, here's a law you agree with. You buy into this law. You agree that it's a truth. I'm attaching my thing with that law. Boom, boom. I've made a fact. And I've made that from thin air. So that's a really actionable tip that you can go ahead and use. And then next is the content quantity. So everyone says quantity. I made a reel about this recently. Everyone says quantity and everyone says pump volume. It's kind of like one of those things where you just get sick of people saying that you need to pump volume. But at the same time, if you're posting once a month, if you're posting once every 2 weeks, if you're posting even once a week is kind of low. It's decent though. If you're posting one good video a week, really, really high quality, it's good. But the people that post that infrequently are posting really, really good stuff where they're working on it incessantly to make something that is really, really high quality. So if you hear these things where someone's like, yeah, on YouTube, posting less is really, you can post less as long as you make it really high content, high quality. So for example, Mr. Beast, when he was on the come up, he would have posted like once a month, but he's still working on that stuff every day. So even if you're not posting content all the time, every single day, you need to be working on the content every single day to produce stuff that is actually really, really good that your customers love. Trust me, my clients are using this right now to absolutely print. They are printing from this stuff, like Max Sturdivant, like Brian, like Angus. Like I said at the start of the video, even if people aren't necessarily getting, starting to follow you from YouTube, even if you're not generating traffic from YouTube, when people see your ad, when they see your outreach, they're going to look you up. They're going to find your YouTube because YouTube is Google's search engine. It comes up quite frequently. When they see that, you want to have stuff that is so damn good and you want to have a lot of it because every single video someone clicks on, that is pushing them further down your funnel. That's getting them to get to know you. That's getting them to get to know your personality, how you talk, how you look even. And all of these things just help people buy from you with, more of a sense of comfort and more of a sense of, safety. And safety, trust, and comfort are buying talk. You know, when people say that's fighting talk, well, guess what? That is buying talk. When people are watching your YouTube videos every day, when they turn on their microwave or when they start cooking their meal and they start scrolling on YouTube and they see your stuff and they say, I'm going to watch this guy's YouTube video while I'm having my meal, which is exactly how people watch YouTube videos these days while they're eating. When they say that, that's buying talk. So if that's you, buy some stuff. No, I'm just kidding. But if you're a business owner, you need to leverage that, is what I'm saying. Next, testing. So a big part of YouTube, a big thing that stops people from getting started is that they get scared that their videos have to be of a certain quality, or they get worried that, you know, they need to make stuff that's really, really good. That is not a helpful mindset. That's not going to make you money. The thing that's going to make you money is understanding that everyone starts out with a really bad quality content. If you look at anyone's first videos, they absolutely suck. And the only reason that anyone's first videos have views now is because they've obviously grown their audience and then people go back and watch their old stuff. But when most people start, their stuff gets no traction for ages. Like if you look at Mr. Beast, his oldest videos got almost no traction. I'm pretty sure anyway. I know my first videos were completely terrible in quality compared to now. My first Instagram reels, completely terrible in quality compared to now. And it's really that you can either, I think I heard this from Myron Golden, you can either delay taking action and reach perfection in the preparatory phase where you're preparing, trying to reach perfection by preparing for so long, or you can take action in order to reach perfection just by getting the reps. And what you can do is just commit to posting one video and then commit to improving that video and then posting another video. And this is one from Theo Von, is that you don't necessarily, when you're trying to get rid of an addiction, you don't necessarily have to commit to getting rid of an addiction for life. You just say, I'm not drinking today. I'm not having drugs today. It's the same with your YouTube video. You don't have to commit to a YouTube career. You don't have to say, yeah, I'm going to do, a video a day for 1,000 days, which is what Matt's doing. But what you can do is you can just say, I know I'm going to post a video. I'm going to post this next video. I'm going to try and make it good. You post it. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to post another video. I'm going to try and improve my hook this time. I'm going to try and improve, the way that I present my points. I'm going to try and improve the body. I'm going to try and improve the positioning of the video. And all of these things really contribute to, over time, you just make more money. You just make more money. It is that simple. So if you can do all that stuff, it's pretty difficult to continually not succeed if the videos are good, if the videos continually improve. So I hope this video was good. And I guess I'll see you in the next one. By the way, I just realized I forgot how we were coming up with our YouTube video ideas. There is the number one way, proven model to come up with YouTube ideas, and that is to actually talk to your customers. So people on YouTube strategy people, they say, go and look at the supply and demand in the YouTube market. Go and look at this, go and look at that. But that isn't really your customers. Your viewers aren't always your customers, but you want to make videos that solve your customers' problems. And how you figure out what their problems are, you ask them. So what I did was I conducted a bunch of onboarding calls, personalized one-to-one onboarding calls, where I would figure out, here are your problems, here are your goals, here's what you're looking to do. And obviously Matt is conducting a lot of sales calls. We're conducting a lot of sales calls. We're asking, what are you trying to do? What's holding you back from getting there? What do you need to learn? What's all this stuff? And then what you do is you just make a YouTube video about that. Instead of trying to make, it's really important. You don't want to go out and make some literal Mr. Beast style, like day in the life vlogs. Like that stuff's good. It's good content. But like I said, that's the entertainment side. That's, I'm watching this video to be entertained, but you want to have people watching your videos to solve problems and learn shit, because as soon as they start learning shit from you, that just puts you in that authoritative kind of space. And that's where you want to be if you are selling. So this is specifically for selling stuff. I will never, ever try and claim to be, someone who's particularly good at YouTube. Like I don't think I would ever even qualify for that, but we are decent at selling stuff. So if you're trying to sell stuff, talk to your customers, note down their problems, note down what they're trying to do, their dream outcomes, note down what's stopping them from getting there, and then make videos specifically about that stuff. So for us, what's that? Content strategy, paid ads, outreach, offers, conversion mechanisms, VSLs, webinars, all this stuff, making money with an agency. That's the stuff that our customers have problems with. So that's the stuff that we're going to put our content strategy behind. Other ways you can find this out is using things like ChatGPT. You can go on things like Quora, you can go on things like Reddit, and you can poke around. You can do that thing that all the people say is like, oh yeah, go and copy someone else's, YouTube channel. If it goes viral, it's a good idea. That's not the worst thing, but that's the real YouTube-y style stuff. I prefer to just think, what are my customers asking? What are my customers having problems with? I'm going to make content about that and then go from there. Really good examples of this. You can see them everywhere. Like I think Eric Nowoslowski he's a really good B2B YouTube channel about cold email. Shout out to him. Met him in Vegas. Awesome guy. That's a really good example of just this is what good content looks like. This is what good B2B content looks like. I'm solving problems. I'm fixing the problem and then going from there. Too easy. That's really me gone. So, ciao.